did like these guys very much, did I? What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the third studio album by the pop-punk alternative band Real Friends. This new record is titled Composure, and it's the follow-up to 2016's The Home Inside My Head. My first connection to this band was their debut album, Maybe This Place Is the Same, and We're Just Changing. It featured probably one of the most Tumblr-esque titles and also album covers that I've ever seen. I was not fond of the record, and I was not fond of the follow-up. I thought that especially, in particular, the debut really harped on these very weird, try-hard themes of desperation, and Dan Lambton as a vocalist just always felt like he was giving way too much or else too little thought to the performances. And that didn't really get that much better for me on The Home Inside My Head, and I didn't review the album because I didn't care. I simply did not care, and I just left it at that. But after a short little break, I'm not going to call it a hiatus, but I think that the band kinda did. It was an unannounced one, and even though they weren't gone that long, I understand that the band were going through some tough times, mentally, physically, and some other things. And in particular, Dan Lambton, the leader of this band, was going through some issues dealing with his own bipolar disorder, and I can respect the time that he needed away. And I honestly think that they have come back and surprised me a bit with their most supercharged and I suppose clean produced album and cleanly sung. Just kind of a more bright, vivacious take musically, but still adding in some emo tendencies lyrically. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty caught off guard when I hit play on what ended up being the lead single, even though they did release Get By back in the fall. The technical lead single from this is From the Outside, and I saw all of those bright colors and the guitars and everything, and Lambton sounded a lot different on vocals. I wasn't sure if I was listening to the same band or not, but it turns out that Real Friends have a bit of a new edge, and even though they have worked with producer Mike Green before, and including on their last record, I think that this is the first time with him solely being at the helm, at the producer's board, and he brings a cleaner edge to their sound that I think that they needed. Now, they don't just get brownie points for getting a producer that knows what he's doing. He's worked with Paramore, All Time Low, and many other bands on projects that I definitely love or else respect. And here, I definitely respect it once again, but I think that it occasionally falls into the same problems that an album like, say, Living Proof, the recent effort by State Champs, another pop-punk band, had. I think that it kind of relies too heavily on the formulas and cliches of pop-punk. Now, that's not always a bad thing, because at the core of it all, there's a reason why so many people are drawn to that genre. There's a reason why it has a massive fan base. There's a reason why Warped Tour existed for as long as it did. I like plenty of pop-punk music myself, but I also have my hesitations with the genre just because so much of it is kind of monotonous. And not to say that Real Friends drown themselves in cliches and everything like that on this record, it just at times gets a little bit over heavy in that saturation department. Getting back on track and actually talking about the songs on this record, I really did like From the Outside. Despite my being caught off guard and being taken by surprise, it's a good song. I think that Lambton sounds strong on the hook of this track and a little bit of a soaring vocal presence there. Also the guitars and the way that they kind of flutter and have this decay and fade, and also a strong presence actually being in the mix for the most part. A strong prominent bass line as well. I can appreciate and respect that. And even the opening track on this record also giving a lot of vivacious performances from the band members and just actually seeing Real Friends just come to fruition, come to their potential. And the track Me First is actually something that I do feel like a lot of people are going to relate to, but it's not just the message of the song. Obviously with pop punk that's always super important, even though it is on this record in general, as Lambton really kind of exposes his trials and tribulations. A track like Me First just kind of opens up about a relationship that felt a little bit one-sided, and it's still a fun song. There's some pummeling bass in there, a nice rumbling guitar, and the drums are fiery as well, and I can't complain at all. Real Friends, however, unfortunately could not resist the temptation to bring in some of their more generic qualities and influences, because some of these tracks, while improved from earlier material, I feel like still suffer from just using up a lot of the cliches in the book. And I understand and am by no means belittling the condition that the lead singer deals with. Being bipolar, I'm sure, is something that's very, very destructive. But still, songs like Smiling on the Surface, they just basically emulate and do exactly what the song before it did. From the outside, you're saying that you were happy, you appear happy at least to the world, but you're actually battling some intense demons. And then Smiling on the Surface literally comes the next song and tries a few different things lyrically, but still, I feel like the overall message of the song is very similar in its presentation. And the execution musically, not much better. In fact, I find it to be very cheesy, and that's unfortunate. There's other throwaway cuts on this record, like Hear What You Want, which is quite literally in one ear, out the other, and then a few towards the end that I'm struggling with a little bit more. I mean, pieces of Unconditional Love, and also Ripcord, which seems like a kind of fun pop-punky song, but at the same time, I just don't think it's going to be one of those tracks that you pick off and put on the shelf and keep coming back to, or even keep in rotation on your pop-punk playlist, or your music playlist in general. It doesn't seem to have that kind of staying power. However, songs like Get By do have a positive quality to them. It seems like they're taking somebody toxic out of a situation, whether it be a relationship or a friendship, and they're able to better themselves as a result of that. They're able to put themselves past that. And then other tracks that are just plain and simple catchy, like Composure, a good driving guitar and bass combo there, like the drums that pop up also. That's something that I can really compliment on this record because I feel like they've stepped up all around the board in terms of them being musicians. Not just the drums, but also the guitar and the bass. They actually feel stronger. It's like somebody that worked out in between an intense off season and now they come back and you don't even recognize the person because they felt really timid in places on their past records. And not only the lyrics were weak, but also the musicianship I just didn't feel like was there on their first two records. But here, it seems like they've definitely made some big improvements and strides there, and then they close things out on a pretty solid, enjoyable moment that I think a lot of people are going to connect with. It's called Take a Hint, and once again, it's not changing anything, it's not shaking up the industry, but it's just fine, and it's serviceable pop punk that'll put a smile on your face, but also a relatable message, I suppose. Is this Real Friends record amazing? No, but Composure is definitely better overall. For me personally, this is getting a 3 out of 5. I want to know what you guys think. Sound off in the comment section down below. Please drop a like while you're here, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you're able to, support me on Patreon. Helping out with a monthly donation greatly helps improve the content on both of my channels. A direct link to my Patreon is in this annotation in the corner of your screen here. If you want to see another pop punk review, then tap right here, or another recent video I made on the channel right over here. You can find me on all of my social media accounts that you see here, and also Twitch in the description down below. And other than that, I'll see you soon for more right here on ARTV.